You just lucky you ain't in a black household, boy. You still would not be able to sit on that behind. It's your girl Aisha, Geek Chic, and we're back with another reaction to Cobra Kai. We're now into season 4, episode 8, which is called Party Time. So, we are getting close to the end of this season, and it just feels like, unfortunately, the group that we'd hoped would band together is drifting further apart. But one of the big things I took away from the last episode is that Silver and Kreese are not really on the same page anymore. Beyond that, the LaRussos are finally up to speed on what's been going on with their youngest son. He has been involved in a lot of poor choices, shall we say, and it all came to a head when our little Cobra Kai I can't remember his name right now, is it Kenny, set him up to get caught. And yeah, I think this is going to be a wake-up call for Daniel and Amanda around the kind of behavior that their sons had. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge because now they've got Samantha, who's doing what she wants as far as still training with Eagle Fang on one hand, and then they've got Anthony, who's kind of going off the rails on the other. So Daniel's definitely got his hands full right now, on top of trying to train these kids for the tournament. So lots going on, ready to jump into this episode. But before I do, if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Thanks so much for coming. And if you like it here and like this video, I'd appreciate it very much if you hit that thumbs up button. It means the world to me, and it really gives this video a little bit of a boost, which I appreciate. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. Same goes for you. I'd love it if you'd hit that thumbs up button. And if you really like it here, maybe hitting that subscribe button so you can be notified when I do more reactions. Obviously, the show's almost coming to a close, but I do a lot of other really cool shows here, and I'd love it if you all would join me. All right, that out of the way, guys, let's get into episode 8 right about now. Who is this? Who's having a very carby breakfast? Oh, it's StingRay. It's been a minute, boo. Of course he's rich. Probably a mama's boy, too.
That means you can take your perfect circle of a body and roll your sloppy ass out of our neighborhood.
Step it back.
Woo!
Listen, those are aerobies, Greg. They're not frisbees. Different disc entirely. I don't have time to talk about
I mean,
that,
can you call the cops over frisbees on a roof?
You still stink, Ray. Stink, Ray.
I like it. StingRay is hilarious. And I'm actually laughing because I've not seen a Miata in ages.
Time for class.
How about you leave me alone?
Just go to work, Sensei.
Ugh. But I should have known. Kreese doesn't hang with anybody he can't fully control.
You gonna go?
To prom? Yeah, right.
Seriously, Robbie, like, I know you want a girlfriend, but not this dysfunctional mess, please. But I suppose, you know, boys do usually fall in love with girls who are like their mothers, and if anybody's a hot mess in that class.
You wanna let me in?
Maybe they would. If you went with me.
Did you just ask me to prom?
Gross. I could not be less behind a couple.
If you're going in style.
Ew, not like the fairy god pimp here, please. We don't need it.
You were never part of this team. You're a buffoon, a joker,
Ooh.
an embarrassment. You have no value here.
He said what he said.
Wait. I got you. This is, this is a test, right?
Please make it. Please leave. He's just not smart enough to pick up on the vibe. And you're all just standing there watching that happen. Alrighty.
Reach in there again, I'll bite your fat fingers off.
Louis' sister's more Louis than Louis.
I think I like Louis' sister better already, just because she threatened to kill him. Kidding.
I'm gonna swap him out for something a little more appropriate.
Whatever you like, Lucille.
She says sarcastically.
Make yourselves at home.
Amanda, hi.
Oh, hi.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. I'm like, why the hell would they be here? But then I forgot. Miguel and... Oh, right. This. They're like... Ugh. Cute, I guess, but I don't like the dress at all. I'm not a fan of taffeta. Never have been. I also don't like the color pink, especially hot pink. I know what that meant.
Mama.
Oh.
So,
It's true, though.
Okay.
What if y'all broke
Beautiful.
up? Well, I guess he'd still be Miguel Sensei's, maybe?
Thought I was supposed to stay in my room for the rest of my life.
Who told you to stay in your room? If
Oh.
he's grounded, what happened?
God, here we go. I should have forgot. I forgot the grandmas are only worse with their grandsons versus their sons when it comes to Italian mothers.
Johnny.
Oh, hey! Remember her?
Shannon, this...
Remember you have like a whole child?
Can we talk?
Right? A and B conversation? Sorry, Carmen.
Nice to meet you.
At least one of Robbie's parents knows what's a priority.
Rich guy, Silver, he came by my apartment today and he gave Robbie a car to take to prom. But if there's one kind of person I know, it's a rich guy who wants something.
Yep.
Since this is Cobra Kai or whatever, you need to handle this.
Don't worry.
Remember your kid?
I will.
He won't. 80s music at a prom in 2022?
Is that supposed to make us feel better? Because everyone else's night is ruined.
Yeah.
It's literally the definition of misery.
Oh, it's a Pac-Man jacket. I love it.
You're more important. I even flew Economy Plus, which is total shit. The seats don't even lie flat.
You don't fly back and forth from Australia that quickly, but okay. Dude. Aw. Thankfully, Eli's understanding. Who knows? You might even get Moon back. Oh, his confidence is shot now that he doesn't have his ridiculous mohawk to distract everybody.
Tonight is just about us.
Okay, let's have the very stereotypical entrance of the new prom king and queen. Slow-mo and everything. Yep. Tick, tick, tick. How does Tori look 45? The styling is terrible. Robbie's suit looks terrible too. You can tell they were dressed by a man in his 50s.
That's not how this works. I don't want to talk to him. I want to talk to you.
I mean, that is part of the problem, but you do need to talk to him too.
Come out, you sons of bitches.
Really? This is how we're handling things, Johnny?
I don't know what your deal is. You keep your cars.
Apparently,
and your
he knew
cash.
Johnny well enough to know that if he called the phone, Johnny would answer it.
Whatever you increase her up to, I'm gonna kick both of your asses back to the nursing home.
I would love to see you try. Corner of Magnolia and Lancashire.
Oh, Johnny, I feel like you're gonna end up in the hospital. Can't say I'm even upset. Teenagers so annoying.
They're watching us.
Are you happy? Lame. To think you have nothing real. That everything you're doing is purely for show. What are we, dirty dancing? What is happening right now? I can't, no. This is why I used to hate school dances. Like, all due respect, most of the students that I went to school with could not dance well at all. But I don't know what that is. It's too much. It's too much. And they're so lame. Like, you think they'd be smart enough to know not to pay attention. That's the best way to get back at that ridiculous show.
Mm-hmm. And when he picked up these things, as you call them, were you able to correct the behavior?
Look, we
They
discipline.
never discipline that kid. Ever.
Mm. Too much,
Nope.
even. But not too much. Just,
It's hilarious how people writing things down makes people so nervous.
are you writing?
See, this reaction is at the root of the problem. Excuse me. You're acting out.
No, we're just working through
They
this.
do
We're
both
not
lash
acting.
out. They are actually both very rash.
You failed. Sorry. No.
Both of you. Anthony did not get that hothead just, you know, coincidentally. That quick reacting before thinking, he gets that apparently from both of you.
Hey, Bart. Psst, Bart.
Sir, why are you at a high school?
I'll be right back.
I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be there. Or around any minors.
You guys lost your after-party pad, is that true?
Yeah, so?
So StingRay's got a move for you. My place. Come to 7010 Halbrand. Tell everybody.
I mean, I guess. He might as well make himself useful, but I mean, if you're gonna have alcohol and all that stuff, you will get arrested again, sir. Which means he must have got arrested at that last party, even though he was the only one old enough to drink.
But I think you'd win a karate competition before dancing.
I hope
The
so.
way I don't care about this bonding moment.
All these Encino kids have their whole lives cut out for them. I'll never have that.
If that's your attitude, you absolutely won't.
Then I could look at that trophy and know I was best at something.
Okay. I hate to tell you, sweetie, you're still gonna feel like crap very shortly after.
What?
Y'all could have gone anywhere else. I mean, yes, you'd have been like, oh, I'm not going to let them win by leaving the dance floor, but that's what I would have. I just would have gone someplace where they're clearly not in any way for me to see. If you can't not look at them. Oh, cheap shots. Did you forget about that? Come on, Johnny, you're getting soft.
You wanted to get back at him, right? Well, here's your chance.
What about focusing on the tournament?
I am focused.
Right?
It's with the Diaz kid, right? How's that kid's confidence gonna be when he sees his sensei beaten to a pulp?
Isn't this these are your teachings,
Just
Chris?
like your lessons.
Jump in.
Unlike him, I actually heed your lessons, Captain.
Yeah, Johnny, you are a little concussed. Oh, Miyagi-do! I saw that shit. I saw it.
Guess you didn't learn much, huh?
Not really.
We agreed to settle this at the tournament.
And that's where we're gonna do it.
Oh my God! Shut up, Chris.
What happened to No Mercy?
Yeah.
I thought this is what you wanted.
So many damaged people in this room. It actually hurts my brain. I don't feel sorry for you, John. I don't know what made you think you'd take your solo ass all the way down there with Kreese and Terry. I mean, I know you don't know Terry like that, but seriously. Not everything can be solved this way. I don't know how many seasons it's going to take Johnny to figure that out. Okay, wait a minute. Isn't that not his sister's house? Sorry.
Did you say something?
Come on, let's go check out the rest of the house.
Wow, she's looking to get pregnant, sir. Well, I mean, your family's probably rich enough to pay the child support. Have fun.
If you all don't go home right now, you are going to get arrested for underage drinking.
Okay, relax. Hey, guys, hey, you don't have to leave. It's fine.
Yeah, some of them are on probation.
No one listen to this speed bump of a human. This is a loser, everyone. That's why he's partying with you, because he has no friends.
Like, I was fine with you kind of talking to him outside by himself, but this is like a bit much, even for StingRay.
It's not StingRay.
That's assault. You're going straight back to jail, StingRay.
Party on.
Why would you cheer? Oh, these are Cobra Kai, I forgot. Eli, why are you laughing? That was not funny. StingRay is going to go to jail because he literally just did this to his neighbor who knows where he lives. Although technically the neighbor trespassed, so it might be a moot point.
I know the suspension and the nose screens thing sucks.
Minor.
So I hope you understand why these consequences are necessary.
You just lucky you ain't in a black household, boy. You still would not be able to sit on that behind. Mm-hmm.
We said no more screens. Are you hearing anything we're saying to you? Give me that, Anthony.
Okay, it's not even an iPad. Okay, if you're at least games, this is...
Hey! Dad, are you insane?
See?
You better strap yourself in for one hell of a rough ride because I am done playing games with you. Do you understand me?
I mean, I'm sorry. It's a little hot. But that is exactly the behavior you're not seeing there. That quick temper, that hot-headedness, Daniel. It is an issue. It's been an issue since you were a teenager. I get it, though, because Anthony, he needed that like 4 or 5 years ago. But we're going to talk about Daniel and this late parenting in a minute.
First Miguel, now Robbie. I have a half-eaten cupcake in there if you want some.
Damn.
You know, I'd kick your ass, but...
Whew. Don't do it, Sam. Sam, why?
What Johnny said, I'm not taking your shit anymore.
Mm-hmm. Robbie, enter. Oh, I'm ill. This again.
You think I broke your heart? You broke mine too.
Oh. This is getting messy. This is why you don't date 15 people at the same time, Sam. So I guess this means all bets are off till the tournament?
I think my dad cares about you. He's just trying to make himself feel better for screwing up with me.
That's been a long time coming, and it's actually true, sadly. I mean, he does care too, but...
Why are you taking her side? Is it the same reason you've been staring at her all night?
Oh, let's not talk about the little moment that you had with Robbie, huh?
I want to go home.
Wow. So easily thrown off balance, as Mr. Miyagi would say.
Sensei.
How many times are we gonna backslide into drinking, Johnny?
I don't know what that means. Let's get you out.
Robbie should... No one should have to deal with this, seriously. But I mean, the sad reality is that this is realistic. People who actually have addiction issues and really poor coping mechanisms don't just change them overnight. They have to find a genuine reason to stop. And while Johnny has been getting there, he still doesn't fundamentally know why he's doing any of this.
I try to protect you. I try to be there for you. Just suck at it. I really suck at it.
You should be saying this to Robbie.
You're doing just fine.
Wow.
I love you.
Your standards are on the floor, Miguel.
I love you too, Robbie.
Okay, I'm sorry, Miguel. I know that hurt, but I'm kind of glad that that came out, and I had a feeling he was talking about Robbie. Sorry, but he does have a real son who he's been neglecting horribly. I don't even know what to say to you right now, Miguel. You just kind of were a pawn in this mess. I do genuinely feel horrible for you.
Gotta return it tomorrow, though, so.
Same with this.
Nice.
You put it in the pool? Unless you got it at Hot Topic, you're not getting a refund on that, sis.
Anthony? What are you doing?
Moving in with Grandma.
Taking out the trash. Without anybody asking? For the first time in your whole life?
Right.
Okay, I did some dumb things to that kid, and it went way too far. And I really do feel bad about it. I heard what you said.
I do believe that.
Well, I don't know what kind of Miyagi magic you pulled, but...
It wasn't Miyagi.
It worked.
Although Miyagi did resort to violence with Daniel more than once. I mean, it's never more than a little slap, but still. There does come a point where your kid absolutely pushes you to the brink. Should not resort to violence when that happens either, by the way. But you see why parents get there.
How bad do you want it?
I want it more than anything else in the world.
I feel like something very bad's gonna happen to you, StingRay. I had a feeling. Sorry, StingRay. Apparently you don't know how to read a room or see when someone has completely lost their shit. Well, he doesn't want to be Cobra Kai anymore. Wow, Terry. You do know you'll go to jail for murder, right? They won't care about your vet status there. Damn. All right, guys. Well, that was Cobra Kai episode 8 of season 4. Why is there crime going on outside? Wow. Sirens super loud. Party time indeed. We see now why the title came from. The kids were just trying to have a little bit of a teen experience with prom. But of course, we saw that the lesson of the week for Cobra Kai was to get into the heads of the kids of Miyagi-do / Eagle Fang with mind games, because there is more than one way to wage warfare. It's true. And a psychological attack is far more damaging than a physical one is. And we're seeing how the lack of cohesion in Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do, as well as even in Cobra Kai, is now affecting these students in different ways that just isn't good for any of them, right? And I think this is a good idea that they're showing this, because it shows you how important it is to be a teacher and what it means to have a young mind in particular in the palm of your hand, as far as like the way you're shaping it or potentially forming opinions with it. And in the case of Sam, for example, she's, Sam's got a lot of aggression that she clearly needs to deal with. I think she's upset about a lot of things. It's been a very turbulent year plus for her, between, her relationship with Miguel, the whole situation with the Cobra Kai Miyagi-Do, the bullying with Tori, the injury that I still think she's got trauma that she's dealing with, to being upset with her parents in the way that they're handling the situation with, karate, no karate, dojos, no dojos, senseis, no senseis. Like, kids need a level of stability. Like, they can adapt well enough, but if there's no sense of feeling like there's any stability at all, kids really start to freak out and act out. And we're seeing that Sam's kind of getting a bit of that side effect. And this episode also brought out the fact that Daniel's priorities, right? Because before this, you got to remember, a little over a year ago, Daniel basically had the dealership and his family. Like, that's all he cared about. And then he occasionally sat on the seat of the All Valley tournament. But now it's like, Johnny, issues with Johnny, Miyagi-Do, the dealership, flying off to Japan to do something, marriage problems, dealing, like, it's just, Daniel's been pulled in several directions. And I think I said this a few times last season, he has to learn to prioritize. You can't have more than one priority, but Daniel's been trying to run that gambit for a while, and it's clearly not working out. And Sam, I think, is also feeling that with that, along with Anthony. but we'll get to Anthony in a minute. But yeah, I think that she just has a lot of frustration and emotions around that. And we all know that Eagle Fang, aka Johnny's method, is to just basically go wild with that and let it out in a very dangerous and angry way. And that kind of came to a culmination point tonight, you know, with the Robbie and Tori showing up at the dance, which I don't see, like, I mean, yeah, you gotta suspend a lot of disbelief with this show, because let's be real, there's no way that Robbie should have been allowed in that school dance, period, right? Like, he was expelled, pardon me, and he also was formally charged. Like, I'm pretty sure he's not supposed to be on that school property again, even as a date, right? But we'll let it go, right? Since Tori got reinstated. But we just saw that for Sam, we saw when the episode where her mom decided to let Tori come back to school, that Sam basically threatened Tori and was like, you know, I'm coming for you. She was not ready to accept that Tori's trying to get her life together. She's not on that forgiveness tip just yet. And I already said in that episode that her mother should have talked to her about it first. But seeing Tori at this dance, I can understand where Sam is coming from, because I think in her eyes, it feels like Tori is not actually experiencing any sort of repercussions for what she did, right? Outside of getting expelled. Like, she didn't get arrested. She didn't get charged. She doesn't have any like lifelong scars here. It's like, I can see how Sam probably feels like, how am I the one who keeps, you know, taking the L's between like all these things that have disrupted my life since this woman came into it. And yet she gets to come to the school dance like nothing happened, dressed to the nines with somebody that I used to care about, or I mean, she still does care about Robbie, but you know what I mean? So I do kind of get where a lot of her frustration around her is and why it was difficult for her not to pay attention to her. I feel like also there is a little part of Sam that feels like she deserves this more than Tori does. And I'm not going to get into the whole, you know, because I mean, there is that belief system that Tori has that she thinks all the kids with money think that they're better than everyone else. I don't think that Sam thinks that, but I do think that Sam has a privileged mindset, and there might be some of that skewing the way she's looking at and treating Tori and thinking that Tori should, or where she thinks Tori fits in the grand scheme of things, which is not great. But unfortunately, with that going on and the fact that she also has Johnny's terrible teachings now around, you know, going and being the aggressor, we see that she broke the rule that was set up by both dojos to not have violence between the two kids until the tournament. I mean, do I think it's going to escalate much further? No. But still, you know, that's the whole thing, is like the Sam of season 1 would not have gone after Tori like that. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. But as I said, I think it's been a culmination point for Sam over a bunch of things. And I think with Miguel, I don't even think he cared as much. I think it definitely bothered Sam more, but I think Miguel was just more like, I think he still has a lot of unresolved feelings and issues where Robbie's concerned for multiple reasons now. Like before, it was probably, yes, because of the fact that he was kicked over a balcony by him and hasn't heard any form of an apology or any form of acknowledgement of that. But now that, of course, this tenuous relationship that he has going on with Johnny, knowing that Johnny is Robbie's father and that the two of them are at odds, I know that Miguel on some levels got to know that this isn't right. But I understand why Miguel's being a bit selfish about it, because he doesn't have a father at all. And I think he's really relishing this male influence in his life and this kind of counterbalance to what he gets from his mom and his grandmother. So, and again, they're all teenagers, so I'm definitely giving them a lot of wide berth because they're just not old enough to understand all these things fully yet. But yeah, I think he just feels some type of way about Robbie and is not sure how to navigate that situation. And yeah, we saw it culminate in that fight, right? Where a lot of long held truths were spewed out. This, you know, as far as Sam admitting the fact that she did have feelings for Robbie and that, you know, she was heartbroken over the fact that he basically ghosted her when he went to prison, right? We know that some of it, of course, was because of the bullying, but a lot of it was Robbie also being all up in his own head around the whole LaRusso situation. And of course, on the other side of things, Robbie's saying to Miguel that the only reason that Johnny's spending time with him is because he can't have Robbie. And as I said, unfortunately, there was some truth to that. It's not 100% true. Like, Johnny does genuinely care about Miguel. But just like we saw at the ending scene there with Johnny when he was drunk off his butt in bed there, he does still want a relationship with his son. And he is very much using the ease of the relationship he has with Miguel to offset how upset he is about the fact that him and Robbie aren't closer and that he isn't putting the time he knows he should into that relationship. And I do like that in that short drunken spiel, Johnny finally said out loud that he is aware of the fact that he should be and could be doing more, that he just isn't getting, like he just won't take those steps. And I know that a lot of people feel like that means Johnny doesn't really care about Robbie, and I don't think it's that simplistic. I think it's a very simplistic approach to say it's simply because he doesn't want to. I think that when you have a pattern of behavior that is so ingrained in you, it is not as easy as people think to get out of it, especially without help. That is the biggest thing with Johnny. We saw that his ex, who we've seen his ex for the first time in since season 2, I think, in this episode. But, you know, she went to get help. She realized she couldn't break the cycle on her own, right? She realized her addiction was always going to get the better of her if she didn't get some outside help and better ways to deal with it. Johnny, his issue isn't just in the fact that he's got a lot of fears and issues and daddy issues, etc. when it comes to Robbie, but he's also an addict, right? The show hasn't really talked about it directly, but he is an alcoholic. And that's the way he always turns to when things don't go well. He does drink every single day. He's an alcoholic, and that whole world is very destructive. And he needs to get coping mechanisms in general before he'll be able to deal with what has to be done with Robbie. And what I mean by that is that dealing with Robbie is more than just being, like I said, I keep saying it in the episodes because I'm very frustrated with Johnny, as I should be. But honestly, in order for him to even begin to heal things with Robbie, he's going to have to be persistent. He's going to have to stick around. He's going to have to be there, and he's going to have to be able to deal with all of the what's the word? He's going to have to deal with the absolutely unavoidable backlash, anger, and negative emotions that are going to come at him from Robbie as that process goes through. Because Robbie's going to push back a lot, as he should, because he doesn't trust Johnny at all. Johnny's going to have to earn that trust back, and it's going to be an uphill battle. However, Johnny's going to have to stick his ground, but the only way he's going to be able to stand his ground is if he's able to learn how to cope with the negative emotions and his own trauma and garbage that's going to come bubbling to the surface as he goes through this with Robbie. Because the thing is, it's not going to just be Robbie. Johnny's going to have to deal with his own trauma between his stepfather and his biological father as he's trying to navigate his relationship with Robbie. Like, I hope you're all starting to understand how complex and twisted this whole thing is and why it's not as simple as people think it is. Johnny is a long way to go, and it's scary for him, and it's understandable why, but I don't think he's ever going to be able to make those real permanent steps, even with Miguel, because eventually he is going to start doing the same thing with Miguel until he gets that outside help. Johnny's got to admit that A, he's an addict, and B, that he needs help in learning how to cope with his negative emotions that don't involve violence or some type of substance. And until he learns those coping mechanisms and puts them into play and puts them into practice and gets good at it, he's never going to be able to, basically, as they say, when you're going through hell, you have to just keep going. Johnny keeps starting the path, and then he runs back as soon as he feels something that's too deep. And he's going to have to learn the right things to help him deal with those emotions, let himself have those emotions. Like, tonight was the first time we kind of saw Johnny genuinely cry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that kid literally, I'm not even joking. I feel like Johnny literally just needs to sit and cry for probably 2 or 3 days straight. He has so much emotional stuff pent up, and he only uses anger to release them because that was part of Kreese's training. But he needs to start learning how to deal with his emotions like an adult, and that's not something I think he can do on his own. So anyways, that's a whole psychological rant that took way longer than I expected, but I think it's important to bring that up because that moment between him and Miguel tonight was pretty huge. We'll see how Miguel takes that. I don't think he's going to forget it, but he might pretend that he forgot a lot of it, since Johnny will probably not remember it in the morning. But I think it needed to be said, and I think that even in Miguel's part, he's going to have to, since he is far more emotionally mature than Johnny at this point, I think he should also get to the point where he starts to encourage Johnny more to get the help that he needs in order to build that relationship with Robbie. Because the reality is, whether Miguel wants to admit it or not, Miguel's relationship with Johnny will never actually be something that's genuinely helpful and solid and long-term until Johnny repairs or deals with this issue with Robbie. The two of them are absolutely dependent and correlated with each other. So anyway, that was pretty much one of the biggest things I took from the episode. Obviously, what's happening to StingRay is super sad, but Cobra Kai needs to cross the line at some point. But it was very interesting to see that Kreese seemed to have, he does have a genuine soft spot for Johnny. We know that, but we see that he might be for the first time thinking that his no mercy tendency is not exactly what he thought it should be. We'll have to see what happens when he finds out what Terry did to StingRay. Kreese is going to realize very quickly that waking the beast in Terry was probably the absolute wrong move, and that actually makes me happy because Cobra Kai needs to take a few licks here. So I enjoyed this episode a lot, guys. I hope you enjoyed along with me. Sorry that the review is a little longer than usual this time, but I hope you stuck through it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you in the next episode.